Are we showing more sort of pelvis?
We are. We need to tilt up a little bit.
Little crotchy.
Look at this. You could get that. What was that wrestler who used to do the...
Oh, wait,
He was-
it's Shawn
that's right.
Michaels.
Was it Shawn
Well,
Michaels?
he was part of Was it Shawn Michaels? Triple H?
Yeah, part of that gang of guys on...
D-Generation X.
yeah.
Or something. How do I really am not a wrestling fan, but I know that for
That's
some
a
reason.
wrestling reference right there.
Should we keep the crotches? Should I stop doing that?
Yeah, you should probably stop. If we want to keep this like G-rated,
What do you reckon?
yes, this content is suitable for all audiences. Maybe you want to tilt us up a little bit. What does your T-shirt say?
It's like a Star Wars T-shirt, and then it's got some weird little guy, and what do you say? Look at the size of that thing.
Is that the reference to the Death Star?
I think this guy is just. Yeah, it's an actual Star Wars shirt. That's an X-wing,
It's an X-wing, yeah.
but I don't know who the heck that guy is. I quite like it. It makes me laugh.
Okay.
You know,
That's no moon.
that's no moon.
It's a
Yeah.
space station.
Oh, that is one of the lines. Is that from?
That's from the original one. A New
That's
Hope.
No moon. A New Hope. Return of the. Emperor Strikes Back. And
The
then-
Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, sorry. And Return of the Jedi. What's your favorite? People always say Empire.
I actually liked Empire before I knew that was like the one that was cool. Like it's not me trying to be all hip.
I
and
don't
with
mind.
it.
I remember being a kid and being really, really into Return of the Jedi, just because I was at that age for like the Ewoks to be really on my
Cool.
level.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
it was
yeah.
like, whereas like everyone else was like, older people who had got into it were like, oh, they've just put it in for the kids. But I was a kid right at
so
that
you
age.
loved it. I
Yeah.
think I just like the opening battle scene of Empire, like that snow planet one on
Oh,
Hoth.
that's great.
That's just one of the cool ones. Yeah,
Yeah, it's pretty good.
big fan of the battle scenes as
Yeah.
a child.
And they end up on what's the city in the clouds with the guy who betrays them.
Yeah, what's his name?
Tell us in the comments.
Jeez,
We could Google
I
it.
haven't watched Star Wars for a long time.
Who is Han's mate? Who he lost he used to
Lando
be-
Calrissian.
Thank
There
you
we
very
go.
much, Lando Calrissian. You got that one.
you
Managed
go.
to scratch that up right out of the back of the ball bags of the mind.
Yep.
Does the mind have ball bags? I don't think it does. But here we are. Another week has gone by.
Yes.
The world has continued. Any like hot events have happened in the world that you'd like to talk about other than rugby? Anything that's... I couldn't tell you one general event knowledge.
You know, my brother asked me something. I saw my brother on the weekend
Yeah.
because he works at the Reserve Bank.
Okay, so he'd know.
And
the
he-
official cash rate's been
He mentioned a name of somebody important who was coming down to their office today. So he mentioned it yesterday.
Yes,
And
I
I was
did.
just like,
Who's
that? Like, that person's not a rugby player. I'm not familiar with that name. Does he play in the front row for the Sharks B team?
Yeah, that he used to play fly half at King Country.
Yeah. So I was not familiar. And he said, oh, no, it's been on the news. And I was like, I haven't watched the news for a while.
Yeah, I've got to the point now.
I don't watch like the 6 o'clock news, sadly.
Yeah, when I watch the news when something big has happened, and I'm like, I want to see the coverage or like
Okay. When was the last time that was?
earthquakes,
Okay.
the floods,
Right.
Gabrielle,
Yes.
election stuff.
Okay.
Like what was happening in the elections last year in New Zealand. Watched
Right.
a little bit of that.
Okay.
Might watch a teensy bit of the debates, but for the most part, it bums me out big time. If you watch the news, it's just like this homicide has happened. These people have lost everything. These two massive powers look like they're about to tick off.
Yep.
And you're like, this is terrible.
Yep.
You know, and it's just wildly depressing.
Yep.
So I do, fingers in the ears, and that takes care of
Just
all
go
of
watch
it.
some cat videos on YouTube.
Watch some rugby.
Watch some rugby.
Yeah, there was some rugby to watch.
I'd rather watch rugby, to be honest. It's not that I don't care for the state of the world, but
I used to care a lot.
I think I used to care a lot when I was younger.
Yeah, that's right. But I don't have the.
I'm just old and bitter.
Yes, you certainly are. It's what we keep trying to re-emphasize to the people.
I'm telling the world I'm old and bitter. They just don't believe me.
Every week we tell them you're a prick.
Yeah, I know.
I think they go like, hey, Mark, he's a good guy.
And then,
I'm the one
in
who
the comments, they're like, that prick in the hat.
I know. I'm the one who
That
gets
hat.
They say in the hat. We both know it's me.
Yep.
Yeah, they don't say the Star Wars t-shirt. They don't say the strange blues hat.
Yeah.
You know? It's not you. What kind of hat is that? Is that an actual official?
It's one of the members' hats. You could only get it if you remember. I got it back in like 2018 or something when I was a member.
If you flip it around, you know it's a member's hat because it has the sponsors on the back. Little Barfoot and Thompson, and then also a little
NIB.
Little NIB there too.
Yep, that's.
Can you do the pod? The
That's
rest of the
comfortable.
pod like that?
I'm a young man.
Look like Poochie.
Poochie died on the way back to his home planet.
Yeah. Oh god.
That's a Simpsons reference.
Yeah.
We went down Simpson Street the other day when I took my kids to a farm, and they were like, they couldn't get over the fact that the street was named Simpson
Are
Street.
they into The Simpsons?
They've seen me watch the odd clip of The Simpsons on YouTube.
I don't think my daughter would know it.
I don't think they've ever seen a full episode, but they've seen a lot of clips of like Homer strangling Bart.
Yeah.
Yeah, they love that.
Yeah, who doesn't?
Yeah, exactly.
Who doesn't love that?
I don't think that would fly these days somehow.
I got my daughter to listen to Tool this evening.
Oh, nice. How'd that go?
She loved it.
Right.
She really loved it because I was just humming along and singing Numa to myself of all things. And then she
Tony,
started
if you want to know about an insight into his personality, he's a big hummer. He's always humming or slightly singing to himself some song that is stuck in his head. It is constant.
Numa
It does not end.
about you.
I mean, it ends when he's talking during the
This
podcast, but as
flesh.
soon as we turn the camera off, he's just away.
Singing to myself. It's because I'm like setting up lights and I'm just sort of yeah. I think if I was around someone who was doing that, I'd probably find it very irritating. There's a driving range I go to, and I'm always seem to be there at the same time as this old bloke, and he's a lovely old bloke. I say hi to him,
Yeah.
but he whistles to himself the whole time.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I'm like, dude, just
Give it a rest.
stop whistling.
Yeah.
But then he's always like, how's the swing today? And I was like, and I'm like, oh, pretty shit. And he's like, yeah, let's go.
Nice.
Yes. Good times at the driving range.
Never been to a driving range. One of these days.
One of these days, yes. We'll have to take you. Okay. Have we talked enough crap?
I'm getting the notepad out.
Oh, watch out. Here it comes.
I've got some notes for you.
I'm getting hard.
There was a final played over the
Was there?
weekend. Yes. Japan League One.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Panasonic Wild Knights against the other team which won. I can't remember their name, but Richie Moore plays for them, and they
Nice
won.
one. Nice work.
I didn't see it.
You know what's interesting?
Michael
about
Leach was holding the trophy.
The Japan League.
Something lupus, maybe?
It's on
TVNZ. They show one game a week, I think, or two games a week.
There's heaps of highlight packages.
Yeah. They show the highlights of all the games, and they show the odd full game.
And they're all like Japanese cartoon characters.
Yes.
That have all the what are they called? Logos, mottos. They're the slogans. No, they're the people who they do races. They represent the teams. The harbour master. Mascots.
There we
There
go.
we go. Jeebus. What's that game where you have to have a card? You can't say the word.
Yeah.
It's like one of those. Yeah, so the mascots are all Japanese. But that's the real final you wanted to talk about, isn't it?
I didn't actually watch that one. I did watch
watch
Leinster take on Toulouse in the Champions Cup final.
So did I. You'd be proud of me.
I watched it live.
I did not watch it live.
It was at 1:45, and I was perturbed that it went into extra time because I wanted to go back to bed.
I was probably awake at 1:45.
But you were not watching the
I
game.
had not. I was hammered. I was hammered.
What was your drink of choice?
Oh, that's the problem.
It's a mixture.
I was slamming the beers.
Okay.
And it was at a 40th and having a great time. And then pretty early on, I would have had a fair few beers, and then I changed to Pinot Noir.
Oh.
I should have just stayed on the beer. And then at the end of the night, I started drinking bubbles.
Oh.
Yeah. And then I got home at 1:30 or something time in the morning, and ordered some McDonald's on Uber Eats.
Oh, nice.
And I was completely oblivious to the fact the game was starting. And I also poured myself another glass of wine, which I didn't drink. It was just like
Just sitting there.
Yeah, I woke up in the morning looking at it going.
Right.
Yes, but I did watch the game. And
Okay.
what a hell
Were
of a
you spoiled
final.
to the result or no?
I wasn't spoiled to the result until it went to extra time and something came to my attention, sadly.
Okay.
Which is irritating. But it was a wonderful, wonderful final. Really a great game.
There were no tries in regular time.
Yes, and
It was played like a final.
100%. And that's not the type of game that I generally like, but I don't mind it for a final with all that pressure. And it was just so intense.
How did you find the atmosphere at
What a
Tottenham Hotspur Stadium?
What a stadium. What a spectacle. I thought they did such a wonderful job making it really feel like a showpiece event. One of the problems with like the Super Rugby final for the last few years, it's been in this tin shack down
in Christchurch.
Down in Christchurch. It doesn't really feel like much of an event.
Do you think Super Rugby could learn from the Champions Cup in that they play the final at a scheduled venue every year? Like this year, it's going to be at Eden Park. No matter who's the finalist. 100%. This year, it's going to be at Allianz Stadium in Sydney. You know what I mean? Like
Well, we've only got one stadium in New Zealand that carries over more than 40,000 people.
Well, I mean, you could do it at the Cake Tin. You could do it at like one of the stadiums that holds the All Blacks, preferably not the one in Christchurch. But you could
Dunedin, Dunners, maybe.
Yeah.
The Christchurch are going to get a stadium soon, aren't they?
Eventually, yeah.
Yeah.
But do you think they could do that kind of showpiece event, or do you like the fact that it's the home ground for the? The only thing is you only get a week to like buy your tickets and get your accommodation and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's right. Well, it's the same with the NRL. The NRL will always have it.
They have a grand final,
which is always
preset location.
Which is always that. What is it called? They used to call it Olympic.
The Olympic Stadium, yeah, the one in Sydney, the big old boy.
That's the one they have it at. No, I don't know.
Or is there a risk in Super Rugby, like if it was in Sydney and it's like the Crusaders against the Blues, that nobody goes?
There is definitely that risk. It's not quite
a prestigious enough competition for people to travel.
No,
it was. Back in the days when South Africa was in the competition, I think genuinely that would be too high risk. Like if you held it at Eden Park and it's the Bulls up against the Stormers, you're going to.
Was there ever an all Black final? Oh, no, an all South African final?
Yeah. Bulls beat the Sharks in, I think, 2007 and a heartbreaking one.
All right.
Was that the only one? Maybe.
Well, they're not that great a rugby nation, I guess, so it wouldn't have happened that many times.
How many World Cups?
4 of them. 4 of them! Red card! There we go. That's our reference to the red card.
Tony stir that pot. He's fishing. He's fishing. He's going.
That's a word about another.
Don't bite. Don't bite.
That's another 18 comments of that guy in the hat. That guy in the hat.
He's stirring you. Look at him.
Anyway, they are a fantastic rugby nation.
We were talking about the Champions Cup final. The stadium is great.
Oh, what a game, dude.
Can I ask you another question?
Yes, you can.
This final was scheduled to play at the same time as the FA Cup final.
Oh, right.
So Manchester United taking on Manchester City.
Which irritated me because United won.
Right.
Yeah.
But is that not a kind of poor scheduling decision just because the FA Cup final, if you're a casual sports fan, you're more likely, if you're from that part of the world, to be a casual fan of football more than rugby.
Yeah, I guess so. But I think...
Is that a missed opportunity to get some casual eyeballs on the game?
Yeah, you would have got a few more casual eyeballs, but it was mitigated by the fact that it wasn't an English squad in the World Cup final. Not the World Cup, the Champions
Cup final, because there's an Irish side and a French side, so it didn't really matter.
Well, I think it would have gotten probably a few more eyeballs, but I still think the viewership in France and in Ireland and, in South Africa, the few folks in New Zealand like you and probably about six more of us managed to watch it.
I hate to say this, but after the final, I went back to bed, looked at the news in the morning to see if I could find any mention of that final in New Zealand news, and nothing on multiple websites. No. Sometimes if there's been a New Zealand player in the game who's done something good to help win the game, they will mention it like Jerome Kaino.
James Lowe got a hat-trick.
Yeah, if James Lowe got a hat-trick, it would have been news.
Yeah.
But there was no mention of it.
They
had the NRL, they had the Black Ferns rugby, the women, they had the Super Rugby stuff, and they had like the A-League, which is the football. Yeah, that was all the sports stories.
Why do you think it's a problem that New Zealanders aren't really into it?
It's not necessarily. If it's the flip side, I don't know that the Super Rugby final makes news in Ireland. I doubt it.
Yeah, we don't have any teams competing in it. Like, it's very, very hard viewing times to watch. People don't understand the history and how... Only recently, you watch it and you're like, this is a big deal. Like, the grandeur around it and the spectacle and the intensity. It was as tense as any final I've seen, really. And that includes World Cup finals. It was a hell of a game. It really, really felt like a test match quality for the most part. And that's what I like about some of those, club team finals, because there are guys that aren't huge starters for their international sides that you get to really have a good look under the hood and see what they're like under huge amounts of pressure as well. So it was a cracking game. It was, you got a feel for Leinster though.
Let me ask you:
There's been a few-
Did Leinster?
Yes, they blew it.
Did they blow it by not opting for polls more?
They blew it at a couple
Like in
of
hindsight,
ways.
it's easy for us to say, "Jesus, you took 5 freaking kicks for touch and you got away. You got back with nothing."
Yeah, that was really silly. I think if finals football, take the points. Take the points.
There's no
Take
next
the
week.
Points. Take the points. Like there's no.
You're a big fan of running rugby and tries, but take the points.
And a final. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Like they really should have taken the points. But the other thing was, that,
Especially after the first few times it wasn't paying off, right?
yeah, there were, when it was like 3 times in, you're like, we've got to come away with some
Something.
sort of.
There's a couple
bang.
times they did like get that
Yeah.
second advantage.
Especially
But
after King Horde just went bang bang against him at the start 6-0, like just saying, well,
Right.
we can stack up points pretty quick if you
Yeah.
guys don't watch it. You need to get some points here.
Mm.
But it smacks of a little bit of arrogance, a little bit of kind of New Zealand feeling kind of arrogance. You know, New Zealand teams will do that a lot of the time.
Right.
But I think there was the amount of time that Leinster spent in Toulouse's 22
Yeah.
piling on pressure, but just trying to force a pass. I thought James Lowe was guilty of it a number of times.
a few of them, ball was just loose, eh?
Just trying to look for that miracle ball and lacking patience and lacking cohesion and just not having the bottle to be able to really, really, be clinical when you're in the red zone. They had so many chances to score if they just had a little bit more patience, had a little bit more respect, and were a little bit wiser about the way that they managed that game. They lost that game and Toulouse won it in extra time. Like I thought that Leinster was the dominant team for the 80 minutes, but
The stats would say that.
But
like all the
Toulouse-
possession and
Toulouse-
stuff, but
bossed that overtime period.
those key moments, eh?
Absolutely bossed it.
Yeah.
Well, like,
How about the breakdown work though?
Anton Dupont.
Yeah.
Anton Dupont.
He won 4 turnovers in that game. Like that's David Pocock numbers, and he's not even a flanker. These are the freaking number 9.
That is just stupid. We can't swear because it's on yours.
It's
but
unbelievable,
it's
right?
So incredible. I kind of was thinking about
It's kind of a gift that he's like playing at his peak at a time when you are old enough to appreciate it and you will remember it. Like he's the kind
It'd be
of player.
a better gift if he came from
That's true. That's true. But he's the kind of player you'll be telling people about when you're an old man, and people will be like, "Oh yeah, that's a
Yeah.
great story, Grandpa." But you'll be trying to get across just how good he was.
You'd be like, but
He made 4 turnovers in one game for Toulouse.
Yeah, it'd like people trying to tell you about George Napier.
Yeah, and you're just like, sure.
Well, yeah, I guess that's great. Yeah, it was a spectacular performance, and I was trying to think of it today in terms of how I'd rank all-time performances, and the one that I was kind of comparing it to in all-time performances was Dan Carter's performance in the second test against the Lions in Wellington.
yeah, 2005.
Where he scored 2 incredible tries.
Yeah.
Was just a freak show of incredible skill.
He was unplayable.
It just absolutely immense and playing some of the best players in the world.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, was Dupont better? And I can't quite give that to Dupont in that game because
This is a club game.
it's a club game.
Yeah.
And the quality of opposition isn't the same as
As
the
a British
best
and
of
Irish Lions side, yeah.
4 nations.
But man, it's right up there.
Those 50-22s,
Yeah, 2 of them.
they were mental.
And just from he does it so casually, just from the back of the ruck with like no angle,
just insane.
flat, and it's like pinpoint.
It's mental. It's just stupid. Like things like that make you think that's the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
So Dan Carter's performance in the Lions, Steph Dutoit in the World Cup
yeah.
final. These are maybe 3 of the best performances I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And it's definitely the best performance I've ever seen in a club game. Just an outrageous talent. Like just a freak show. God damn it! Why is he not a New Zealander? Like, okay, rank these 4 performances in order for me. Okay. Jonah Lomu versus England,
Oh.
1995 World Cup semi-final. Dan Carter, Lions, 2005.
yeah, 2005.
Steph Dutoit, 2023 World Cup final. Anton Dupont, 2024
That's the only one
Champions
that's a
Cup.
non-test though.
So is that your 4?
But the thing I like about the Dupont one is, like Jonah ran the English into the ground, literally, right? He
Scored 4 tries.
4
4 tries that no one else in the world could have scored.
That's right, and was just unstoppable ball in hand. But Jonah being unstoppable ball in hand is what Jonah does.
Yes.
Whereas Dupont like broke 6 tackles and made 4 turnovers. Like, did Jonah like how many tackles? I want to know
I think you got to get that to Jonah, man. Like, because he just did something so freakish.
Well, yeah, I know.
He wasn't jackling balls at the breakdown.
What was his like defensive game like? Like Dupont can just do everything, which is just so stupid.
He's far more of a complete
player. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Jonah's like min-maxed. Like he's got all the stats in offense and 0. Like,
well, no, he could smack up some fellas.
I suppose so.
You know,
it's not what he's known for, though.
He did a great hit on Gavin Hastings in that World Cup. And
how many 50-22s did he kick though?
There wasn't a rule back then.
I know that.
Yeah. He could kick the ball.
How many kicks did he make?
He could punt it pretty long distances, but he just why would you?
Yeah, I suppose when you can just run.
Yeah, okay. So is he your? So what's your? Is he?
I can't rank those.
Go on. I'm gonna go
DC.
DC was so. That was the most
sublime, man.
Incredible number 10 performance I've ever seen.
Yeah,
and that's quarterback. That's boss in the game.
Yeah.
That's against the British and Irish Lions, which is
even though it was Woodward's pretty average British and Irish Lions.
Well, we made them
look average,
pretty damn average.
Yeah.
Well, also Jonah.
Supposedly he didn't get the team on board that well. We're getting distracted. We're supposed to be talking about the Champions Cup final.
The name of this podcast is called 2 Cents. Gets distracted.
It's
a rugby podcast.
Toulouse boys almost scored first with Dupont involved.
Speaking of Dupont, that deserved a try.
This should have been a try, shouldn't it? I mean, it wasn't a try. It was clearly not a try, but the skill.
Pass. And like he was getting taken out by Jamison Gibson.
That's the battle. Like everyone was talking about Gibson Park against Dupont, and then within the first minute, you got Gibson Park try-saving tackle.
And he just got
Dupont,
that ball
bit of
up
brilliance.
in the air. Just, what's the name of the guy?
LaBelle.
He ended up scoring. No, he got another one that was just bad as well. And he finally scored. He scored in overtime, didn't he?
Yes.
In extra time. But then just to throw the ball up to know that your player's going to be in that space, that was just
freakish.
Sick.
Yeah.
Sick as shit. Oh,
yep.
He's so good.
I know.
He's so good.
And it was denied for just the brush of the line.
Okay. Who's got a shot of... I want to talk more about Anton Dupont.
Okay.
What's our boy? No, I forgot his name now. It can't be that good. But I got high hopes for him. Number 9, Hurricanes injured right now.
Cameron.
Can he match with this guy?
I think he can bust tackles as well as Dupont.
He looked really good.
He can bust tackles as well, but I don't think he has the kicking game or the defensive game.
The only thing that
like at that level,
what's Dupont's worst thing about his game?
I mean, sometimes he seems to want to do a bit too much and forces stuff.
And pass isn't?
Yeah, sometimes.
Pass isn't a little bit?
Sometimes they're a bit wayward, but generally...
they're not that snappy.
He's not got an Aaron Smith pass.
If you gave him Aaron
Smith's pass, he would be the best player. He'd be just like 10... I think all the stats would be 10, 10, 10,
Everybody 10. You wouldn't be able to play him because everyone would just be orgasming the whole time.
It'd be like, this is not fair.
It would be ejaculate everywhere.
He'd be banned, yeah.
Yes, it'd be a whitewash.
Yeah.
Okay, we need to talk about someone else. Kinghorn played well.
Kinghorn played well. He did drop a couple of high balls. Him and Ramos dropped a couple of Leinster high balls. Ramos did worse.
Yeah, Ramos came on and dropped the pill a few times. I didn't understand that.
Jordan Lama, and speaking of try-saving tackles, put a cracking in on LaBelle.
Yeah.
So he had a pretty good game in a losing shift.
Yes.
But the breakdown was just so dominant from Toulouse. They just seemed so fired up.
Well, they were giving away penalties a lot, and then they were putting themselves under pressure so much. But just, I don't know they seemed a bit more passive at the breakdown. They seemed a little bit more passive in the collision.
Yeah, quite a few times the Leinster guys got isolated, and the Toulouse guys you give them half a second and they'll be over the ball. Jack Willis was fantastic.
Doris tried hard. Van der Fleer
came on off the bench. Yeah.
Why was he coming on off the bench?
But they're both just really good number 7s, him and Connors.
Right. Yeah, okay. And it was... you think that those guys wouldn't get dominated at the breakdown.
Not really. It's not their thing.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's the heartbreak on those guys' faces afterwards.
It's 3 finals in a row. It's a really hard competition to make the final.
Yikes.
That's 3 finals in a row.
Ouch.
they've like been focusing on this. The URC, they've numerous times sent out the B squad to keep the A team fresh. I mean, Toulouse did the same thing in top 14, but for a number of years now, Leinster's like goal has just been that next star on the jersey.
Leinster fans in the comments below, are your boys? Are you proud of them? Are you disappointed in them? Do you blame the coach? Do you think there's a mental issue when it comes to finals? Do you think this whole policy of rest and rotation that gives us the heebie-jeebies for many reasons?
Yep.
Is what is really doing you that the guys haven't got enough, meters in the legs to really pump it, and when it comes to finals time?
I mean,
what's
to
the
be
problem?
fair, Leinster
It's a hell
with
of an
that
effort.
one drop goal away from winning the game, and I could have gone to bed about an hour earlier if he'd got the thing.
Think about Mark.
I was gutted when he missed it.
Poor old Frawley, eh?
Yeah, he took a big knock,
He took a massive
and
knock.
he didn't go off.
That was bullshit.
Maybe he should have gone off.
That was absolute shit.
How the hell did he not go off?
That's not a champion.
He clashed with, was it Kinghorn, right? We came across to try and shut him down,
yeah.
and he just caught. It was nothing foul, but he just got caught in the head.
And he got right on the side of the head. Boom.
And he looked
He was
like...
groggy as afterwards. Definite concussion, and they kept him on. That was pretty gross, I thought.
Because they could have brought... I mean, Ross Byrne was kind of hobbling, but...
Well, maybe Ross Burns' injury was worse than we knew.
Maybe.
But the fact they needed to do something. They can't keep a player on like that.
You're not supposed to do that.
100%. That's just bloody, his health and safety going forward. Like, he
Yeah.
knocks and nothing to be
That's right.
messed with. He needed to get off. But then he tried hard and missed 2 droppies. And
If he gets that one, Leinster win, and then nobody's talking about the arrogance of going for touch and
he
the getting dominated at the breakdown. And even though Dupont was amazing, we still beat him, kind of thing.
Frawley wasn't great after that, and he was okay, but he didn't rise to the moment like Leinster needed. And maybe I don't know too much about the bloke, but he doesn't look wouldn't be a test player, would he?
He has played for Ireland, but only kind of bit part so far. He's a bit of a utility.
Yeah, right. Poor bugger. I don't know. It's taking a head knock like that, being thrown on in an intense environment, and he had bloody acres of time.
Yeah, there was no one closing him down.
He could have.
Yeah.
And he pulled it, eh?
Just pulled it left.
And did he have another one as well?
Yeah, another one led on to at least, with an extra time, the last Leinster, they needed to get points to get within 7 and have a restart, but he missed that one as well, so that was game.
That was game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez, the Irish, mate. I know that's not Ireland, but a lot of Irish fans support them, and they know how to do heartbreak, don't they?
I mean, Toulouse had a red card.
Yeah, yes.
You know what was funny? Because Richie Arnold, I saw the Toulouse huddle at the end of the full time, and then they had the huddle before extra time. And then the coach of Toulouse is Mola is just going on in French, and I could see Kinghorn listening in. I was like, he doesn't understand a goddamn word of that. And then once they kind of broke up, I saw Richie Arnold just yelling at them, going, "Discipline, boys, effing discipline!" And I was like, "You're about to get red carded." Well, I didn't know that, but later on, I watched it back, and I was like, "You're about to get red carded."
Yeah, it's one of those ones that, cleaning out rucks, it's so tough because sometimes the only bit of the
human that's exposed.
It's a human that is exposed that you need to move. It's just a head that's sort of popping out. That's reaching
you can't
over
do
the
it.
ball, and then what are you trying to do? Please, can you move?
He kind of popped his head up as well, but I
minute.
mean, I don't know.
That's a red. Yeah, it's a red.
It's a red.
Some other takes on some red cards this week.
Yeah, but that one was red. So Toulouse went into the second half of extra time with a man down. So in theory, Leinster should have been able to boss it, but they were on the back foot.
They had a yellow, didn't they? Didn't Leinster get...
Leinster came back from their yellow, the James Lowe deliberate knockdown.
Which I
hate these deliberate knockdowns.
Some of them are rough, man.
Yeah.
There was a couple of rough ones for me over the weekend. That he knocked it up, for God's sake.
Which is generally when you're trying to catch it.
You're catching it, and Pirafetta was jumping up to catch.
We'll get to that one later. Yeah.
And yeah, I thought, and then it was interesting seeing James Lowe afterwards when they gave it, he was just yelling, "How?
Yeah.
How?"
Yeah.
Yeah, he's always good.
That's the thing, because the way the law is, the ref has to determine the intent of whether you were trying to knock it down or trying to catch it.
It's basically if you were unsuccessful in getting the intercept, you're off.
Yeah, but that's not what the law is like written for. It's like to stop deliberate knockdowns, slapping it down.
Yeah, it's
become this more general interpretation of, well, if you stick one hand out and don't get it, then you're gone.
Yeah.
That's how it's interpreted now.
And all the
even if it's not like a deliberate batting action, even if it's just like a hand out to try and knock it out.
I've seen in my life, I've seen a few.
Yeah.
Are just instinctual when guys just get it out or flit it out and manage to gather it in, and then they're away.
See, I reckon you could get a clip package of like 10 great intercepts and 10 yellow cards.
Yeah.
And just like freeze them at the moment where he's touching the ball, and you play the guessing game of yellow card or try.
Yeah.
And
tears or glory.
The action of the player will be pretty much identical in every one.
Triumph or disaster.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so that part I think kind of sucks about that law.
Yeah. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
My dad also hates that law.
The one that irritates me a lot about, the only time that wasn't ruled that way was at the World Cup. Who was it? Was it Steph Toit who stuck out a mitt and
Are you really going back to the World Cup
bloody
final?
knocked it on clearly, and somehow that was damn South Africa, always cheating.
He's got that ladle out. He's got that ladle.
Please, this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to create a teasing relationship, guys.
Willis for Toulouse made 29 tackles.
Wow.
The next best tackler in that game had 17.
Willis, is that the
flanker?
Oh, Jesus. Far out.
That's good numbers.
Who was, who I like the look of in the Toulouse team, the number 13? It looked like a beach. It looked like a Aussie,
Cost.
Cost. I was thinking, for some reason I was thinking LaRoche or Costa. But he... I
don't know much about him, but he looks good.
He was in the fight.
Yeah.
I really liked the look of him. Looked like a good
They lost
player.
Peter Aki early.
Yeah,
Chocobatos had to come on.
It's funny seeing players like that, eh? When you're like,
I haven't seen him for a while.
Jeez.
Peter Aki, he ended up in France, eh?
Good on you, Axe.
But yeah, so Lowe gets the yellow card, goes to full time at 15-15.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a clutch kick from Frawley to get it even. He had to make that kick to tie the game up and take it to extra time. But yeah,
Leinster just had so many chances to get points, then they didn't get them.
And then there's that second half of extra time when it's 15-14. They just concede a couple of penalties, and Toulouse are just able to take the game beyond them.
Do we say it? Do we call it a choke? We call that a choke.
I think it's hard to say it's a choke when Toulouse is that stacked a team.
Yeah, but in terms of how that half went, how that 80 minutes went,
I think they choked. I think they had the winning of that game.
They lost it, and they definitely had mentally gone almost. And by the time we got to extra time, and Dupont,
I think especially in the second half,
Dupont was like, "Was that the game? Okay, that's mine."
In the second half of extra time, I think so for sure.
Yeah,
that was when you were expecting Leinster backs to the wall to really wrestle the game back, and it just didn't happen.
Yeah. Oh well, what a game!
It was fitting for a final.
Yeah,
Dupont was a fitting man of the match.
Oh, incredible. Just incredible. That's the best I've seen him play.
He's incredible.
If you want to come on the podcast, Dupont, we'd be happy to have you as our official first guest.
Leinster, I think just maybe need a world-class 10. Because they got world-class players in a lot of positions, but not 10.
Not quite. Yeah. Yeah, they don't quite have it there, do they? Who could they get? Well, they're getting... Mr. Barrett, not Bodie, but
Geordie for half a season.
We used to toy with him at 10 back.
He's played 10 for the All Blacks a couple of times, at least once.
Chuck him in there. Is he going to be there for
I think 6 months.
So he won't be there for a Champions.
He'll get part of a Champions Cup run,
but he won't be there for the final or anything like that.
Don't think so.
When they make the final, inevitably again next year, it's a hell of an effort to make that many finals.
3 finals in a row in a competition that big with all the best teams in Europe is incredible.
Yeah, it's a heck of an effort, but. Their drive
if
for
they
5.
don't win the URC this year, does the coach need to go? Because this will be another season with no trophy. It'll be 3 years in a row, no trophies. Like they used to win the Pro 14 just every year by default. But since it's been the URC, they've not won it yet. And this is 3 Champions Cup campaigns in a row.
It's pretty brutal, making a final and not. Yeah, I don't know. Depends on their standards. If it was the All Blacks, yes. But are they the All Blacks?
About the closest at club level, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe.
Well,
Right.
that was the Champions Cup. It was a cracking final.
Look, we talked about it in depth, and I hope you enjoyed it. There's been another podcast.
Commiserations, Leinster.
Congratulations.
To lose.
To lose. To win.
To win. Someone actually put that in the comments of my video. It was like, their name is to lose, but it should be to win.
Should we give them some ASMR for the...
Shriek.
I've been biting my nails, so it's a little bit...
There we go.
Little ASMR for you. Actually, this is making me want to go for a pee. This is exciting stuff. What are we going to talk about now, Mike?
If anyone's just listening, I hope they can actually hear. Otherwise, they're just like, I think your podcast's broken, guys.
Yeah, something's wrong. Something's wrong. Oh, there we go. Am I doing this too long?
Yep. Dragging it out a bit long.
There we go. Okay, so Parrot Dog this week.
There we go.
Cheers. Still waiting for that elusive beer sponsor.
Yeah.
Somebody? Anybody? We've had enough listeners over the couple of years we've been doing this. Somebody from an alcohol industry must have heard this podcast.
They've watched it and gone, not a chance.
It's like, I just drove the truck, dude. Okay.
The other rugby on the weekend was Super Rugby.
Woohoo!
In which our Blues,
No, can we talk about...
top of the table.
Can we talk about something else?
They go down to Christchurch. The Crusaders are third from last.
You know what?
If the Blues win,
You know what?
the Crusaders are out. They can't make the finals. We're the top side. They are right down the bottom. We just need to give that death blow.
They've lost to everybody.
They've lost to the Waratahs twice, and the Waratahs are the bottom team. They've only won 2 games up until this point. 2.
But they're our bogey team.
But there's a big crowd down there in Christchurch. They're baying for some Auckland blood,
Yes.
and they get it.
They get it.
Ethan Blackadder was incredible.
See, look. Okay, so...
Apart from Antoine Dupont, I think Ethan Blackadder was the best player I
He scored
saw
the
this
first
weekend.
try, yeah?
Scored a try, made also a heap of tackles. I forget how many.
Look. So this
27. Is that more than Willis? How many did Willis make? 29. Close. And that's
Wow.
no extra time. Maybe Willis made more in extra time. I'm
Imagine
not sure.
if there was extra time.
Yeah.
Plummer who...
Willis didn't score a try.
Talking about how amazing Plummer was kicking until...
He missed that conversion.
Anyway, I'll tell you my experience of this game. So, I was going to a 40th.
Yes.
I knew it was starting at about 7:05. The thing started at 7, but I had to put my daughter to bed at 7:30, so didn't watch any of it. I thought, you know what? I'll catch most of the first half in the Uber on the way.
Okay.
So
You took an Uber because you're responsible and don't drink and drive.
that's correct.
Beer sponsors. He doesn't drink and drive.
Yeah.
He may look like he drinks and drives,
What
but
do
he
you mean I
doesn't
don't
drink and
look
drive.
like a drinker? How insulting. And I'm watching in the Uber. And I was like, dude, you mind if I watch? Because I don't know. And he was like, yeah, man, no worries. Then he was just like talking to me the whole time. And I was like,
Trying
yeah.
to watch the game, bro.
But anyway, so I'm watching away and we look dominant. We look like we've got pressure on. Like Blackadder scored, so I'm like, okay.
That sucks.
Yeah, that sucks, but, you know, we often go down a little bit earlier. And then, you know, Tuinga Farsi scores 2.
Yep.
And I'm thinking, we've had all the play. Like, I'm going to go to this 40th now, have a great time, which I did. I had a great time. And then went and checked the scores with 5 minutes to go on my phone. And I was like, 29, 27.
What?
I was like, what the fuck? So then I'm like, then I just try and put my phone away going, we'll get a penalty. So it'll be all right. And then I check my phone, it's full time.
And it was the
And
same
then I what did I message you?
Something about effing this and Crusaders that, I think.
So do it without the F's.
Yeah,
There we go.
it was.
And I was pretty drunk at this time, but you probably can see the state of the messages.
Yeah. It was. I didn't watch it. How in the name of F did they lose it?
Yes. And you responded with
Effing Crusaders. And you replied, F. Now we've got them in the quarters. Not necessarily.
Not necessarily. But we might.
We might. It could happen.
And I can't. Wouldn't be a bad thing if we lost this weekend.
We've got a bad feeling about this. That's not a moon. That's the Crusaders warming up. Finals footy, back to the wall.
Sickening.
Coach dropping C-bombs and getting them fired up.
They're like a zombie. So this is how I feel. I felt like this was a zombie film all week. I felt like, okay, they've been dealt so many like pretty much critical blows.
They're on the deck. They're not moving.
We just get to be the ones with the axe to chop their head off, and
Just
we
to
just got to
kill
kill the thing. It's not dead until it's dead.
And we didn't do it.
And we dropped the axe.
We did.
Did we play badly?
I wouldn't say we played badly. I
watched the highlights, but I did not watch the game. And I did not want. I was planning on definitely watching the next day, just got a whole thing of KY, bunch of tissues. I was ready to enjoy
bask in that glory,
getting them out. But boy,
basically
5 kilos of KY still in the pantry.
Blackadder played incredible. Cody Taylor played incredible.
Dominated
he set up a try. Yeah, they dominated scrum time. Like there's one point in the first half, end of the first half, Taylor, they've got advantage, just taps it and gives it to Fihaki. That's what catches us with our pants down. You with your KY pants down. It's premature. And they just go over.
All of us.
So brutal. I do think, and this is with blue lenses on entirely, but I do think Pero Feta's yellow card was a load of old horse shite.
It looked like bullshit to me.
That was crap.
They throw it up. He jumps up with 2 hands, clearly trying to catch it.
Have you ever seen the AFL, how those guys catch the ball above their head with 2 hands? It's just kind of like that.
I reckon if you get 2 hands to it, that ain't a...
I don't think I've ever seen a 2-handed intercept attempt be carded before.
Yeah, that's not nonsense, eh?
I don't think I've ever seen it.
So it's a penalty, and it's carded.
It's carded.
And the penalty gets kicked.
And then
we get a try.
We do get a try in the yellow card, but then they get a try basically by cross-kicking it where the defender would be. So I don't want to say that cost us the game because he comes back on and they outplay us in the second half, but that one was bullshit.
That is total horseshit. So we had them. We were up
15-12 at halftime.
But we were up, and they scored just on halftime as well.
Yeah, they scored that one that Cody Taylor tapped just before halftime, which got them right back into it. Burke played well, Blackadder played well, Taylor played well. Their scrum was good. So
who played badly? Plums? How do you go?
I mean, he was all right. We got dominated in the loose forwards. Like Choate's no match for Blackadder.
Yeah,
we didn't have Papali. Papali was being rested. I think we missed Papali.
Yeah, right.
And we maybe missed Caleb Clark out on the wing.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah. I think
we get Pups back, get Caleb Clark back in there. We play with Perifetta and Plummer a little bit more, get their experience up.
Yeah.
Front row.
There was one moment, I don't know if they showed it in the highlights, but there was
Moody.
one moment, who was the tackler? I think it was Dallas McLeod. So, Funaki, our number 9.
Yes.
Has had to scramble back and get a ball in our own in-goal area.
Yeah.
So he's in the in-goal, and we've carried it back into the in-goal. So if he taps it down, it's going to be a 5-meter scrum to the Crusaders. I don't know if they showed this in the highlights, but...
I didn't see it.
Okay. So he's up shit creek, basically, and then the Crusaders defenders are on rushing, trying to tackle him in the in-goal, so it'll be the 5-meter scrum.
What happens?
He gives Dallas McLeod a big don't argue, sits him on his ass, and I was like, yes! Like, that's like the kind of stuff we need. That's what's going to drive us to victory. And we didn't win, but it was a good moment, and maybe has not done Dallas McLeod's All Blacks chances any favours.
Oh, good. I like Funaki.
Yeah, he's good. He's been really good.
Yeah, I think he's been really good.
Yeah.
Don't think we've missed the red
Christie,
too much.
Right.
But yeah, bugger me.
I know.
Bugger.
Still alive. It makes for an interesting...
Just want them to die, because if they win this, like, look, if they... we'll talk about the fixtures to come in a bit, but boy, I'm a Fiji Drew fan this week.
Oh, yes.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, yes. Other games, the Hurricanes beat the Chiefs away. That was in Hamilton.
Got some takes on this.
Okay. Hit me with your takes. Hit me with your best shot.
I think the right team won.
I think so as well.
I think the Hurricanes were the better team.
They were up 14-0 at halftime.
We commend play. Yeah, they played really well the first half. It was great.
That drive from Numia. Oh my God, prop love.
Yeah, insane.
That's you get KY out for that one. That'd be plan B for your KY. Goodness gracious.
I like it. He loves it.
I love some props. It opens field.
He's a big unit.
Yeah. More ways than one.
Jeez Louise. Calm it down. He's got a teepee going on down here.
Got a Kalen Doris, or maybe an Antoine Dupont.
Oh, you're getting a Blackadder. Okay. So, and then, there was a good try to the Chiefs straight after halftime.
Yeah,
it was a
another
great
one,
game.
like 45 seconds.
Definitely a
Yeah.
game of two halves, but I
Yeah.
thought, with the red card and whatnot.
That
was-
red card,
This is my part of my thing, man.
that was bullshit.
I thought it was pretty bullshit as well. They were both bent and like we're neutrals, right?
Yeah.
Don't want to bitch the referee, but the referee made a few pretty puzzling calls in this. By the way, this is not a personal. Who was he?
Was it Dolman?
Dolman. It's not a personal attack on him. I don't want anyone to send him hate messages. I have bad days at work.
Yeah.
I thought this was a bad day at work for him. Like this is just purely a comment.
Oh
on
no,
the
was
decisions
it
he was
Paul
making.
Williams? I can't remember.
Whoever you were,
He yellow carded him and it went on report.
yeah. And then I was like, okay, they're both bending at the hips,
That's the
bending at
thing.
the knees.
Va'i goes into the tackle
Basically on one knee.
bent and head first.
Yeah. And they were like, he went up into it. I was like, dude, he's making a tackle. He's moving his
And
body to make impact.
his arm's even coming to wrap.
Yeah.
But the head kind of, I think, gets because he lowers his head into the con. I don't know.
I was pretty surprised that they couldn't find mitigation.
There are some times when I've seen it, the guy is so far bent and he's trying to wrap and he hits with the shoulder and the ball carrier is so low that the ref just goes, there's no foul play there.
Yeah, 100%.
I've legit seen it.
Yeah, me too. So
I was thinking at best he gets there's no foul play. At worst he gets yellow carded.
but no,
Maybe he gets pinged, but it may be yellow carded. I couldn't see a red card in that.
that was a weird one. And then the next one, which was very, very perplexing. Narawa doesn't knock it on. He managed to actually get the ball, catch the ball, gets the intercept. And then there's the breakdown where Naholo, like there's a normal kind of breakdown. Naholo comes around the side of the scrum,
Ruck.
no, the side of the ruck. The referee says, no, you're offside. And he listens to the referee, backs off. The ball's out the back. Then Proctor, who I think is really good, by the way.
Really good.
Proctor comes in and picks it up.
Yeah.
Takes the ball because it's out of the ruck. Then he blows the whistle. And then yellow cards the guy who obeyed him.
Yeah, no.
And, like, what on earth? What on earth was... That is just bad. That is a bad call.
I was live
Really
streaming that
bad.
game and I was also perplexed. One guy in the comments said he could see it being a card
How?
because
He
the
didn't even
fact that Naholo came in the position he was meant that a Chiefs guy had to make a clean out instead of...
He didn't. No one touched him.
Yeah, I don't know.
The whole just back. He was like, "Oh, you know how they see them? They go, no," and he goes, "Okay,
yeah.
That is not yellow cardable.
Yeah.
It is not yellow cardable." And
Seemed
Proctor
rough.
came, and then Proctor was like, "The ball was out," and he was
Yeah, it
protesting.
wasn't you, it was the other guy. Yeah.
And I think he just was like, "I got my card out. I realized that the ball was actually out." But I have to give it to someone. I'll give it to the guy who looked like he was in an offside position, who listened to me. Nonsense call. Okay, Chiefs supporters, I'm not just picking Kane's ones because the game-defining decision of this game that actually gave the result was also a big load of bullshit in terms of my opinion. Jacobson makes a cracking dominant tackle. Who was it? Was it against Geordie?
I think so.
Absolutely pummels him into the ground like copybook, massive impact, huge collision, and the I don't know, was it the number 7 for the Hurricanes? And
So Lakai?
Lakai, who I think is also very
good,
very
yeah.
good. And another bloke, instead of clearing him out, which is what they're meant to do when he's on top of him, they just pin him in, and he's literally like a
Yeah.
fish, just like trying to
I
flop
remember
away
people
to get out.
saying, like, how's he supposed to roll away?
We've talked about this before. Like you fall on the wrong side of the ruck,
Yeah.
and you can't get out. Okay, that's your own fault.
And
But if you're
sometimes-
making a dominant tackle,
Yeah, and sometimes the ref will say, don't hold him in, don't hold him in.
they were
right?
holding him in 100%.
Yeah.
And that's what won the game. You know that the penalty was
Because
the
Cameron then goes and kicks the penalty.
That was so bad, and it's just irritating that this game. Like, well, I thought the Hurricanes were the better team, and I thought they did deserve the win. But just seeing the game be defined and actually the outcome as a result of bad decisions was
Bit of a
really
spoiler, eh?
3 really bad decisions. Nothing personal. They were just, in my opinion,
Just puts a bit of a dampener on
You're
it.
just like, boy, that guy just needs to like have a couple of weeks like doing some club rugby or something. Like there needs to be, I don't know, maybe everyone has a bad day sometimes, but that was a bad day in my opinion for that bloke. Neutral. Don't want him to get death threats. Sure, he's a lovely bloke. It's not personal. I don't think that's where it gets wrong. I'm definitely of the belief that referees are not beyond reproach and they can be open to criticism, but there's no need to make it personal.
That's true.
Yeah,
They're just doing their job. The same as players drop passes.
100%. 100%. If we were talking about a guy who made 3 massive errors in a game that cost them their game,
You'd be talking about
we'd be talking about it.
Yeah.
And that's basically went both ways, the bad decisions, to be fair. But they were perplexing ones.
Yeah.
Oh.
The Hurricanes getting away with it at the end of the day.
Yeah, they did. Which, in a funny kind of weird way, not that upset about because it keeps them in the race for number 1, which
Could mean the Crusaders. Maybe.
I would much rather see them deal with the Crusaders.
The Brumbies flogged the Rebels 53-17.
Okay, so the Rebels are not in great form.
No.
So come on, Drewer.
Yeah, no, the Rebels are in terrible form.
I saw Callaway.
They haven't won for weeks.
Okay, come on, Drewer.
Yeah. It was 34-3 at half time. Like, that's brutal.
I saw...
And, just FYI, the Rebels have already secured their playoff spot, so they would be well within their rights to send the B team to Fiji
Feel free,
and
fellas.
save the big guns for their away trip wherever they have to play.
Take it easy, guys.
Send the academy blokes.
Yeah.
Send the 18-year-olds.
Yeah, send
They'll
them.
love a trip to Fiji. Fiji's great. You've been there.
I had a great time.
He played rugby on the beach.
Hey, don't even like...
Have a few carvers before the
Have a
game.
few beers. Enjoy the sun. Get out there. Stay somewhere in a resort. Nice.
Yeah.
Go see some of the local sites.
Yeah.
Have some kava, a few beers.
Just relax.
Chill. And Fiji, you drill, boys.
No cover for you. Not until after you win.
Yeah, win that game.
Moana Pacifica beat the Waratahs 27-12.
Oh yeah, wow.
That was the bottom
I
of two
saw a
teams.
highlight, and there was a try where they did like.
There were some
16
sick tries in that game.
beautiful
Yeah, there were some
backhands.
bloody nice. I mean, even the Brumbies as well. The Brumbies scored some really nice shots, some
Waratahs,
great
you mean?
offloads. Oh, and the
Warriors.
Brumbies Rebels game.
Okay.
The Brumbies had some great offloads. There were a bunch of yellow cards in that game. The Moana Pacific guys scored some great tries as well. Sekopi Kepa was about to retire. He scored a try in his final home game. So
Very
that was
nice.
great to see. The Waratahs got a couple of consolations. One of them was a length of the field, kind of worldy, that Parise scores. I think Peach
Very
goes
nice.
down the left wing and huge pass. It was like nice, but that game probably doesn't mean anything. Because for Moana Pacifica to make it, they need like the Crusaders. They beat the Crusaders, they need the Force to lose, and they need the Drua to lose. So, unlikely.
I'd rather see them through than the.
Than the Crusaders,
Yeah.
for sure.
Come on.
Go Moana Pacifica.
Come on, Moana Pacific.
We're behind both these Pacific teams.
We are Brown Brothers this week.
The Crusaders beat the Blues. We talked about that. Oh, Jesus. The Reds flogged the Force 59-13.
We need the Force to win as well. If the Force won,
If the Force won, that would also be good. Might go into the bonus points, though. Like, if the Force won against the Brumbies without a bonus point and the Crusaders won with a bonus point, they would go ahead of the Force.
Okay.
So the Force are...
Who are they playing?
The Force are playing the Brumbies.
It's unlikely.
At home, though. They're good at home, but I don't know if they're bonus point good. Unless the Brumbies also just decide to send the B squad.
So you want
Steve Larkham, you know.
Far out. You want to take it easy. You don't want to take that big trip.
Perth's a long way.
She's a long way.
Send the 18-year-olds. Perth's
Exactly.
got
It's
some
not
nice
gonna.
beaches.
No skin off your nose. Don't risk injury.
Exactly right. Because
Come
you're
on.
probably going to have to play...
Take a leaf out of Leinster's book.
Yeah,
Yeah, it worked out for them.
that's right.
Oh god.
That man, Tim Ryan...
We are so scared of the Crusaders.
We
still.
are. They've scarred us for life. Tim Ryan scored 3 tries in this game. He came off the bench in the previous game, but prior to that, I think he scored 2, and prior to that, I think he scored 3. So he scored something like 9 tries in about 4 games. It's on a stupid run.
Try time.
Loves a try.
Love the
Fraser McCright scored 2.
Fraser's good, isn't he?
Clean breaks finished 8-1, which is pretty damning for the Force. They scored the last try, though. So last try wins? Anybody?
Yeah, maybe. What are your? I like talking Wallabies a little bit. What are you thinking in terms of? They're looking like they've got a bit of a team there.
The main question for the Wallabies right now is who do you play at 10?
And front row for me as
The
well.
front row is also looking a bit shaky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lolasia?
Lawrence, I think, is the form guy, but I think we might have said before, he's been there and not done that before.
But maybe 10's maybe a one you need a few miles under
a
your
bit of
belt.
maturity. Yeah. And he's playing in a winning side with a pack. Which
Maybe with Joe Schmidt's intelligence behind him, they give him a game plan that was just pretty much
Well,
dynamite.
Schmidt is like the plan man. So
Yeah, he's the Rain Man.
the final one was the Highlanders playing the Drua. The
That's how
Drua.
Heath described him.
There you go.
An old Hateful Heath video. Look at that, it's right there.
Okay. I probably did a card. Probably.
Yeah, it's Mark's alter ego, Hateful Heath.
Card. Highlanders Drua 39-3. So the Highlanders secure their playoffs.
And the Drua, it's not the best place in the world for them to play, is it?
Yeah, I literally looked at the weather forecast the day before. Fiji, 29 degrees.
Yeah.
Dunedin, 9 degrees. So it's 20 degrees
20 degree
difference.
shift.
Like, sometimes the weather goes up by like 3 or 4 degrees and you're like, whoa, geez, hot today.
Jeez, take off my
or she's
jacket.
freezing.
But 20
So
degrees.
20 degrees is a heck of a change.
Yeah. If that game is played in
Brisbane, maybe? It's not as bad?
No, if that game is played in Fiji, results may vary.
Yes, that's right. The Fiji and Drua are a substantially better side at home.
Yes.
But,
we're the number one supporters next week.
Nareki was back and scored a couple of tries.
I'm more excited. I'd be happier to see them win than the Blues win the weekend. 100%.
There you go. Nareki back for the Highlanders. He'd been injured for half the year, but he scored 2 tries. Played bloody well.
Good one, Nazza. Do you reckon I can call him Nazza?
I think the Highlanders have got some of the longest surnames in their backline. They've got Jacob Ratumaitavuki Neepkins, and then they've got Timothy Tavatava Nawai.
Tavatava Nawai is a good one. I wanted to mention this. I think Perenara is not doing himself any disservice and potentially putting his hand up for number 9 for the
ABs.
For the ABs. I thought it was a big test for him against Cortez Ratama.
Handled it with aplomb.
And I think that he looked the better player.
There you go.
So
The veteran.
And that's where you want to see them, eh? Up against each other. It's going to be interesting. Who's the number 9 in New Zealand right now?
It sucks that Roygaard's not in the race at the moment, eh? And Christie's not been playing either. Not that I think he's the best number 9 by a long shot.
But I think Roygaard is... the fact that Perenara is getting to showcase his skills to us once again, which really he shouldn't need to have to showcase his skills.
But he was out for such a long time that he kind of fell away. It looked like it was going to be Fakatava, it was Aaron Smith, and Roygaard.
Do you think he goes to the youth and he gets Cortez Ratama and
I think he goes with a pairing of TJ and somebody else. Yeah,
Cortez?
maybe.
Funaki's not doing himself any...
He's doing all right as the All Blacks conversation. Hotham's doing all right for the Crusaders. He scored their final try. So
yeah, we'll see.
He's pipped Mitch Drummond for the kind of starting 9 spot for the Crusaders. But it's easier to pick the guys playing on the winning teams.
Yeah, Mitch Drummond was in a battle with Bryce for all those years. Bryce... he used to play...
I keep thinking Bryce Heem, but he's the midfielder that plays for the Blues.
The
guy who went for the Blues and then went down to Christchurch to play for the Crusaders. Yeah,
he's
on the Aotearoa. He's on the Aotearoa.
Yeah, he's on North Harbour boy.
What's his name? James Parsons and
Bryce Mitchell. Bryce.
Is his name Bryce?
Is it?
Don't think so.
If he went to Ireland, he'd probably have played 50 tests and be world class.
What the hell's a No, mine.
Bryce is Bryce something.
I can see his face.
Can you see his face? Probably not. I probably didn't edit that. Oh dear.
Do you want to know the standings?
Yeah.
For the race for the 8.
Yes.
So the Drua are in 8th.
Come on, Drew. You just need to win. You got your fate's in your own hands.
Everyone else is safe. Rebels on 26, Highlanders 28. They can't be caught because the Force and Crusaders are on 19.
Just need to win. Boys.
The most you can get is 5 points if you get a bonus point win. So you can get from 19 to 24.
Yeah. Okay.
So the Rebels are on 26, so they are safe, even if they lose. Whereas the Drua are on 21, so they can be caught.
Come on,
but there's a 2-point lead, so they just need to win.
Don't even need a
Any win.
Just win.
1 point win. It doesn't matter.
Just win the game.
And they're playing the Rebels,
Which is not a bad
who are
game,
safe in the playoffs,
but they're not playing great.
but haven't won for a number of weeks now. They're in pretty bad form. They have been falling down the Super Rugby table like a stone. So Fiji tends to be a bit of a fortress for the Drua.
Let's hope that they go out there with all their gusto.
And they'll know what they need to do because Crusaders are playing Moana Pacifica in the first game of the round. That's the day before.
Yeah. I don't think I can watch any of this. I'd be too nervous. Too much. I'm going to be in Australia for one. So it's going to be tough to catch.
You get a Stan Sports subscription. Sponsor us, Stan Sports.
Yeah. Why am I pointing there like this?
I don't know. He's good at pointing.
Second point that way. Also, I've got that in my range of pointing repertoire. Bit of angle stuff going on here. And if you're listening out, I'm just pointing in various directions.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's more of a visual medium.
The pointing game is a bit more visual than anything else. You're right. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
The Waratahs are playing in the Reds, which is a dead rubber because the Waratahs are out. They are the only team with one round to play who are mathematically out, which is a bit of an indictment into the playoff system.
The Crusaders should not be in this. Yes, yes.
The Waratahs are out, and the Reds can only finish fifth.
Okay.
They're too far behind fourth and too far ahead of sixth.
So
they can't move.
So
they are finishing fifth. They're going to play whoever finishes fourth.
So it could be.
I think it's going to be the Chiefs.
Yeah. Unless the Chiefs.
I think even if the Chiefs win, they're probably not going to catch the Brumbies.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Good.
So the Reds can also send their B team if they want. Up to you.
We don't care.
Les, doesn't really matter to us.
Yeah.
Drew are playing Rebels.
It's all about us at the end of the day.
Hurricanes are playing Highlanders at home. So the Hurricanes will be looking to get a bonus point win to overtake the Blues.
Feel free. Feel free.
You happy for them to take number one?
Yes. If it's.
What if the Drew win though?
I would rather we won. Right. Like bragging rights. In a perfect world, the Crusaders don't get through and we're number one.
Right.
Okay, that's the ideal result.
Right.
But
if the Crusaders make it, you'd rather we finish number two. Right.
I'm that scared. They're a bogey team.
Yes.
They are. We have beaten everybody this year.
We have even beaten the Crusaders. Up here.
We should have won that. Yeah, we'll play them up here, won't we?
Yeah.
We'll pack out Eden Park.
Yeah.
And there'll be 50,000 anxious as if Auckland Blues fans just not even screaming, just sitting there anxiously going,
biting their fingernails, waiting for more pain. Just don't hurt me again.
Don't hurt me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, look.
Can you see the Highlanders upsetting the Hurricanes? The Highlanders played really well against the Drua, but
unlikely.
Unlikely. Okay.
Well, can you?
Probably not. In all likelihood. No.
So you'd say unlikely.
Like they came up to Auckland when they didn't change their lineup on a 3-match unbeaten run, and we changed half our team and put in some debutants, and we flogged them.
Yeah.
So
I don't played like that this week.
Yeah. The Blues are taking on the Chiefs from Eden Park.
It's a good game. I think it's a really nice game to go into the finals on. If
Did the Blues put out their best team for that one? Have to, right? Got to try and finish number one. Yeah. Maybe see how the other results play out first, because we'll know the Drew result by then.
Will we?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
But the squads will have been named.
Well,
but I guess a few guys could get injured.
If I know that the Crusaders are 8, I'm going to be like...
kind of hoping that the Chiefs get up.
Yeah, and I'm actually going to struggle to watch any of this over the weekend.
And then the
Force... I'm in Australia.
The Force are playing the There's
no TVs in Australia.
Force are playing the Brumbies. The Force will know by that stage if they have a chance to qualify or not. They will need the Drua to have lost. And if the Crusaders get a bonus point win over Moana Pacifica, then they know they need to get a bonus point win over the Brumbies.
Can I get a week trial for Stan Sport?
Yeah, I think you can.
Yeah, I might
do a free weekly trial.
I'll sign me up.
There you go.
Because I think I was overseas and my NordVPN wouldn't work on Sky Go.
Oh, really?
They were like, no, thank you, sir.
Huh. I got it to work while I was in China.
Wow. For Sky Go?
Yeah.
All right. Are we talking illegal stuff at the moment?
Not really. VPNs are just
it's a grey
area. Yeah. I still own the subscription.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was thinking. I was like,
and I'm pretty sure China doesn't have like an official broadcast partner of Super Rugby.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not like cheating anybody out of money.
But that was the thing. Maybe because I couldn't get it to work, I was like, it wouldn't let me work with the VPN.
Sky's pretty anti-VPN. They took over Rugby Pass years ago when Rugby Pass used to be a streaming service, and their first action was to just block all VPN access.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
You're
good on this guy.
You're great. Hey, man, you know what I did the other day? I went on to NZR Plus.
Oh, yeah?
I went on to... You're all over that bloody thing.
Yeah, I'm on NZR Plus.
Your face is all over you. You and your whiteboard.
On NZR Plus.
All over that thing.
There's some All Blacks there. There's this guy.
You're the face of NZR Plus.
NZR Plus.
Yeah. Dude Perfect's on it.
Dude Perfect and this guy. They've got 60 million subscribers. I have a few less than that, but we're both on NZR Plus.
I have a few less than that.
There you go.
I'm not on NZR Plus. They haven't picked up the podcast yet.
Not just yet, no.
We're waiting for the call.
We'll get there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah.
All right, is that rugby?
One round to go in Super Rugby until we know the finalists. Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting.
So there might not be a pod next week.
You're going to be in Australia.
Tell
Tell the audience why you're going to Australia. You are going to see the Force host the Brumbies from Perth.
No, I'm going to bloody Origin, man.
Oh, he's going to Origin.
I'm going to Origin.
It's a bigger deal than
State
the
of
Force
Origin.
taking on the Origin.
Well, my fiance. Oh, my fiance's.
When did they? Where?
Oh yeah.
Were they?
I got my fiance.
That was partner.
It was part of it. Became fiance.
Jeez, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, mate. She made a terrible mistake. Her sister is over there, so we're gonna go over there, see her sister, and hang out a little bit.
Did you convince her to go to Origin, or did she still decline?
No, I convinced her. I said you are going, mother effer.
Oh, nice. And
she
then
was
she was like, when you talk to me that way, when you put it that way, I'll go.
You hear the way we talk to each other?
Yes, I do.
We talk to each other with love.
Like sailors.
Pretty much. Yeah, so that's going to be great. Looking forward to Origin. You going to stream it?
Origin?
Do a live stream of Origin?
I did it. Was
You've
it
done
last year?
You've done it.
It was a couple of years ago.
I think you've done it the last 2 years, haven't you?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever done game 3 because both years I think it's been over by
dead rubber.
Yeah.
So do a game 1. Okay. And then do you want me to give you a call at halftime, live from the game?
Will you be using your roaming?
Oh, Cobbo was mate. What about Reese?
Selwyn Cobbo.
Yeah, there we go. Selwyn.
He's the only guy I know.
Really?
But you know the reason I know him is because in the build-up to Origin, they did this cool piece on him.
Yeah.
They were like, talked about his backstory and about where he was from.
Can I ask you to do this?
And they don't do that for the rugby.
Can I ask you to do this? Can you watch the entire coverage of Origin, like the hype and the pump up? It starts at 9:30 for God's sake. Your kids are at bed.
Yeah.
Like it'll be a late night, but just watch the whole thing and maybe stream the game, but then just go and then give me your thoughts on
a bit more context
on the package.
They do the build-up stuff really well.
Amazing.
It's kind of like UFC in that regard.
Yeah, and also it gets you hyped.
Right.
Gets you hyped, and then you think, what do we do? I think Sky's making a bit more
effort. Yeah, they are.
To give you a bit of context between histories and stuff.
Yeah, but they still treat it a bit more family friendly. I feel like they want to keep everyone looking like he's a good bloke.
Yeah, these two teams have a rich and deep history where they both want to win, respectively.
Basically.
With the NRL, like, these blokes hate each other.
They want to smash each other. And then they show
they
show clips of all these fights.
Guys just smash each other.
Yeah,
like,
it's a bit of a different.
Origin, it's going to be brutal. There'll be blood. And you're just like, there'll be blood.
Yeah, that's why we watch.
Yeah, absolutely. And why do you watch this podcast? I don't know.
Yeah.
You made it all the way to this point.
That's pretty good.
What do you mean? The podcast is pretty good?
No, the fact that they made it this far.
Fantastic. And look, there's a view count down there, and it might say 6,000, 7,000, 2,000, 1,000, whatever it says. If you're still here, you're part of a small minority of those people.
Because every graph on a YouTube video goes like this. First 30 seconds falls off a cliff, and then it kind of slowly declines until the end.
It's a slow, sort of gradual.
Yeah.
So it goes little, like it's like a little slide.
I think on average, about 50% of people are still viewing at 30 seconds. YouTube tells me that's about normal.
That's yours. Mine's higher than that.
Normal.
Yeah,
No, but
yeah.
mine tells me compared to the rest of YouTube.
All right.
When I'm
yeah.
at 60%, it says that's above
I
average.
make different kind of content than you.
60% is above average.
All
50%
right, yeah.
is average. 45% is below average.
I think Heath had a good one.
Okay.
Heath was like 70%.
You need to watch some Heath if you haven't seen Hateful
Yeah.
Heath.
Nobody watched it, but the people who watched it watched the whole
Loved
thing.
it. The
I was
hardcores
thinking
watched
about
it.
before. I was thinking about removing it and then reposting it. Like just before the.
Reused content.
Well, nobody watched it, so it's not fucking. Okay. You know, is that cheap to do that? I posted it I blew my load a little early with it, maybe.
Yeah, timing is everything, isn't it?
Yeah, if I release it just the week before internationals,
Maybe.
maybe. What do you think I should do, guys? Give me some advice. Watch it first.
Or if you want to go watch 2 Cents on Tour,
That's
you
probably
can watch that as well.
That's pretty good. I was meant to edit one, but I said no.
Yeah.
I want to edit one. I would have.
We'll do the snacks video. I didn't
Oh,
bring
whatever
them.
you-
I didn't bring
every
them.
week,
Do you want me
like-
to come during the day to do it? Is it going to
Yeah,
be easier?
yeah, we could do it. I could do
Okay.
it someday during the week this
Yeah.
week.
Okay.
Come sit.
Settle us up.
Can we put that behind?
Yeah, we can.
Plug for the show.
Yeah,
So we're
exactly.
not talking about rugby.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
We'll do that. I think that sounds like a plan.
Okay.
I actually got kind of recognized on Reddit as my other account.
Oh.
So I talk a bit on Reddit. People ask questions about China and stuff, and I'll sometimes
Yeah.
reply. A couple of times recently, someone have been like, when I've replied to someone asking a question, they've been like, love your videos.
Oh, really? But he's
Like-
talking about rugby?
No. People just like the China videos.
Got a sneeze.
Goodness me.
Oh, holy smokes.
Bit of ASMR there.
Oh, I did it across it.
Yeah.
That was one really crawling up the nose. Yeah, sometimes it starts and it just goes on up there. You know what that's like.
Yeah.
Anyway, this has been a podcast. Well done. It's called 2 Cents Gets Distracted. What kind of podcast is it, Mark?
It's a
Good
podcast where we go around China and speak to Chinese people and explore some interesting places.
It's also a rugby podcast.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
2 Cents on Tour.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my other channel.
Which you probably can see a link for.
Go subscribe there after you've watched Hateful Heath.
Subscribe to this shit. This is your channel, yeah.
Yeah.
You watch Hateful Heath. Exactly. We're really plugging stuff at the moment.
We're just plugging. AG1. NZR Plus.
Toro. Yeah, exactly. Oh, I just wrote an article on, what do they call
Planet
it?
Rugby.
Exactly. Well, I want to get, the only people have approached us.
Manscaped.
Yeah, that's it. The only people have actually approached us to sponsor this podcast have been Manscaped.
Yeah.
And you don't want to talk about pubes. I'm
No.
like, I'm all about pubes. I love them.
Express VPN.
Pubes!
All those links are down in the description. Support
All right,
the channel.
Fantastic.
Cheers, fellas.
Adidas.